the lockdown showdown. Is he going to lunge? But is he going to have enough time to do it? The final turn. Bang wheels. It's going to be a drag race. There. Oh, how did he find that gap? That is going to cost him the race win.
It's all kicking off now.
They're going to bang doors here. Super late on the brakes. They're still side by side. So they're going to be starting the final lap. Absolutely punched the wall. He's closing in. But is he going to have enough time to do it?
Hello and welcome back to the Jaguar I-PACE eTROPHY Lockdown Showdown. We are here at the sweltering Tempelhof Airport just south of Berlin city centre. Now before we talk about our pros, let's talk about our Pro-Ams. Congratulations on Farhad Al Ghasaibi wrapping up the Pro-Am series. Our pros, however, have got 2 more races to go. Can Simon Evans catch reigning champion Sergio Jimenez? He's just 8 points behind with 2 races to go. The racing is getting really intense. We cannot wait. And as you know, qualifying is really important in the Jaguar I-PACE eTROPHY. So here's what happened earlier on during quali.
Well, qualifying kicked off for round 9 of the Jaguar I-PACE eTROPHY series on this new Berlin updated layout of the Berlin Tempelhof track. With the Pro-Am title wrapped up, all attention was on the Pro Championship. Sergio Jimenez looking to extend his 8-point lead over Simon Evans with what could be a crucial point for pole position. Sergio Jimenez was looking strong. Australian Nick Foster has been a real challenge and a thorn in the side of the Brazilians in his Team China racing car. Jess Hawkins, W Series racer and stunt driver, having her first experience of the car after being in the commentary box for the last 2 races. But Caca Bueno was looking very comfortable on this new layout and actually surprisingly clear of the rest of the field. The Brazilian, who's taken many wins in the I-PACE eTROPHY, but after missing the first 2 rounds, not in championship contention, outqualified Simon Evans by 1/10 of a second, 3/10 to Sergio Jimenez in 3rd. Nick Foster, a surprising 6/10 off the pace, but a good qualifying performance from Alice Powell. She gets her best grid position in Lockdown Showdown.
Thank you very much, Jack. Amanda, we've got 2 races remaining. Simon Evans, Sergio Jimenez. There's an 8-point gap. Now, these 2 guys really want to be victorious. They really want to be our champion. It's all to play for. However, we've got 2 really different characters. 2 really different characters in Sergio Jimenez, the South American, and, of course, the Kiwi Simon Evans. Sergio's been driving really aggressively. Simon has kind of been in his wake for several races, but now, what have they got to do?
Well, they've been preparing hard over the last couple of days. There's no doubt that everybody wants this. Both of them are fighting tooth and nail for this championship. Sergio, of course, wants to regain his championship. Simon wants to win it. But they've been focusing, staying in the hotel. There isn't an awful lot that we can actually do here. Staying cool, doing some training, and just looking at data. But the rivalry between these 2 is intense. When we actually look at where they've qualified on the grid, the guy who seems to go from hero to zero, Caca Bueno, the other Brazilian, Sergio's teammate, has suddenly come back into contention. He's now going to be starting in pole position. Just when we thought we had it kind of nailed between Simon and Sergio, Caca goes and sticks it on pole. But we've got Simon in 2nd. Now, Simon has shown such amazing race pace. Qualifying, not so good, but he has won a race from 4th, so we know he can do it. But Sergio is, of course, in 3rd position. So Sergio is going to be fighting hard. But the rivalry between these 2 drivers has been intense. We just need to look at the Super Sunday. We've renamed it Simon's Super Sunday because his performance was absolutely dominant. When we look at that drag race down to the final corner in race 7, we can actually see it here behind us. There's Simon just ahead. He's actually sticking to the inside line. He's got a run on Sergio there, but Sergio cuts back. Now, of course, because the straight isn't a straight, by going to the inside, Sergio's actually got a shorter line. So what that means is as they come across the line there, we've actually got the closest finish in eTROPHY history, just 1/10 of a second. And Simon's face says it all. He was elated by that. And then again on Sunday, Sergio was desperate. The second race, in race 8 on Sunday, Sergio was desperate to make amends and actually take another victory. But again, a mistake. And we actually saw there in the final lap, in the race there, we actually see Sergio making a desperate attempt to use the attack mode on that final lap. Was it right? Was it wrong? You can see it here. Here he goes. He knows Simon's got the legs on him, and Simon's race pace, as I said, has just been so strong. He decides, well, I've got nothing to lose. I take attack mode. Perhaps Simon's going to make a mistake. You know, maybe just a little spin, just going a little bit sideways. With that extra boost of power, it would have been enough. But yet again, Simon was victorious.
It was amazing that Simon was victorious on Super Sunday in both races after a very long conversation with his father. Now, obviously, Simon's brother, Mitch Evans, is racing for Jaguar in the Formula E. And he was saying that, listen, my dad knows motor racing, he knows motorsport, and he just had a conversation with me where he said, what are you doing? Concentrate, focus.
It's really, really important to just stress how much both of these drivers want this championship. They've been so close all the way through. If we actually look at the points that they've both been scoring, Simon took the initial lead in the championship. When we actually look at that gap between the two of them, Simon took the lead in the championship by taking that first win in Diriyah. And since then, Sergio has just been nudging ahead. Race 6, you can see, pulled out a little bit of a gap, but Simon has been pulling it back. Now, both of these drivers have made personal sacrifice for this championship. Sergio, with, of course, the COVID situation, when he heard that possible sanctions were going to be made on travel, actually came to Europe the end of June, just so that he was going to be here for this, just in case anything happened. Simon, when he goes back to New Zealand at the end of this marathon of races, he's going to have to go into 2 weeks of solid isolation in a hotel room before he can reintegrate into family life back there. Both of these guys are desperate. And I think what we're going to see over the next 2 races, today and tomorrow, is just going to be electrifying.
Oh, I see what you've done there. Well done, Amanda. Awesome stuff. Well, here's another one for you. Before we move on, let's talk about Caca Bueno, and let's talk about Nick Foster. Okay, because they're two drivers who really want to win, and they've really thrown themselves in the mix in that melee between Simon and Sergio Jimenez. And a lot of things have happened where not one of our championship rivals, Simon or Sergio, have been given the chance to take the lead. They've had to really fight in these races. So
Caca is a fierce racer. I would not be surprised today now if we start seeing a little bit of Brazilian team orders coming into play. But what we've seen with Caca Bueno is mistakes. He's a driver who, as I said at the beginning, can go from hero to zero very quickly because he has thrown away plenty of opportunities. The only driver who has yet to make a mistake with attack mode here in Berlin is Sergio Jimenez. Talking about Nick Foster, the Australian who's in the Team China racing car for this week, I mean, he came in just guns blazing, really shaking things up and just putting that little bit of spice into the series because nobody was really expecting people going around the outside of our championship leader at that point. So Nick's another one to watch out for, but he's only qualified in P5.
Yeah, and we've seen people come into the I-PACE eTROPHY and not necessarily take it serious, but they haven't driven with the respect deserved of the other drivers. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But these two guys have Caca Bueno and, of course, Nick Foster. All right, let's take a look at our contenders.
The lockdown showdown has been really intense. I'm where I want to be and a chance at the title.
7 races in 9 days, so I knew that should be very difficult mentally. Simon's a very fair guy to fight with. Will be hard, but fair. We had it like this all the time.
And if he holds on here, Simon Evans, oh, Jimenez to the outside. That is impressive stuff if he can pull that move off, and he can.
Sergio is very consistent, he's a hard racer, and I know going into this last weekend, we're both going to be wanting to come away with a win.
Caca Bueno with a victory in the first race in Berlin. It's the 3rd win of the season for Sergio Jimenez. Another win for Sergio Jimenez, the reigning champion.
I was leading most of the race, 98% of the race.
Evans needs this win. He's closing in. Simon Evans is going to come through the final corner as he wins and closes the gap at the top of the championship. It's going to come down to the final corner.
and I was halfway down that straight. I had one eye on the checkered flag, one eye on my mirror, and I was just yelling, just trying to get the old girl to get across the line in front of him, and it finally paid off, and that's why I was so pumped at the end.
Of course, it's frustrating, but at the same time, I need to keep focus and still leading the championship. That's what I need, so keep going. I made history. I will be in the history books forever. First electric champion of manufactured electric cars. And I hope I can be the second and still the only one.
We're heading to the last weekend, a double header. It's the title decider. It's not going to be easy, and just got to, send it again, and hopefully walk away with the final crown of the series.
It's very important, and I will push and do whatever it takes.
This is the Jaguar I-PACE eTROPHY. It's the penultimate round, round 9. We cannot wait for this one. Let's go over to our lead race commentator, Jack Nichols.
Thank you very much, Vernon. Looking forward to this one. We have got the cars on track, ready for the penultimate race of the season. Caca Bueno on pole position, Simon Evans second, Sergio Jimenez in third place. Evans is going to have his work cut out against the two Brazilians this afternoon. Here's a look at the circuit. Then on this extended New Berlin track, the start-finish straight the same. Turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are the same, but that's when it starts to change. Still that long left-hander, then the double back, then through 4 it gets a little bit tighter before the kink at 5 and 6 down towards turn 7, which in itself is made a little bit tighter too. Then we have the chicane at 8 and 9, attack mode still on the exit of turn 7. 10 and 11, the two left-handers before rejoining the original circuit down towards the hairpin of turn 15, up towards the final corner at turn 16. Now 2.505 kilometers as opposed to the previous 2.3 kilometers. So that is this circuit that they are going to be racing on, a circuit that Abby Eaton, alongside me in commentary box, hasn't raced on some of it because she was out in the last two Jaguar I-PACE eTROPHY races. And here is a look at the grid. Caca Bueno starting on pole position. Simon Evans is alongside him on the front row, and fascinated to see what Evans can do because he is ahead of his rival Sergio Jimenez. The only way Jimenez can win the championship in this race is if he finishes first or second, and Evans does not finish. There are different permutations if Evans finishes lower down the order, but that's fairly unlikely. Alice Powell is in 4th position. 5th position on the grid is Nick Foster, who was surprisingly off the pace considering how quickly he came out of the blocks earlier on in the weekend. Gregory Seguer starts in 6th position, the young Frenchman who got on the podium last time out after he was 4th last time out after an impressive drive. Pro-Am champion Fahad Al-Ghassabi is 7th on the grid. Then it is Adalberto Baptista in 8th position in the other Brazilian entry. Takuma Aoki, the Japanese former motorcycle racer, paralysed from the waist down, starts in 9th spot. Then we've got 10th place for Paul Spooner in the Saudi racing entry. And then we have Jess Hawkins starting in 11th place on the grid in the Jaguar VIP car, her first time driving the car today, pretty much. And then Sven Forster in the other VIP car at the back of the field, the Austrian getting ready to take the start. As I said, Abby Eaton alongside me. Is this a bit weird, Abby, that they're on the grid in Berlin and you're here with me?
Yeah, I thought I'd give it a go, seeing what it's like behind a microphone as opposed to a steering wheel. I'm a little bit jealous that I'm not down on the grid with them, but it'll be interesting to see from up here. Yeah,
certainly will. They're about to pull forward into position. So as I say, there's 8 points Jimenez's lead over Simon Evans. He needs to extend it to 22 points, basically, in order to wrap up the championship after this race, and that means he needs to either come first or second, scoring 20 or 15 points respectively, and the points are for the class itself. So with there being 7 cars in the pro class, it really will take a retirement from Simon Evans today for Sergio Jimenez to wrap up the title. Here comes Caca Bueno moving into position, but if I'm Evans, I'm a little bit nervous about having the Brazilians either side of me, I think.
Yeah, I think there may be some team orders coming into play here. It's definitely from Caca to Sergio, and just, yeah, maybe he'll try and back him up into the first corner and give him a chance to get through, but who knows?
We've seen Jimenez go to the outside a couple of times down at the first corner in the previous races. The green flag wave from the back of the field, penultimate race of the 2019-20 Jaguar I-PACE eTROPHY season about to get underway. Bueno on pole position, Evans alongside him on the front row. Evans and Jimenez are the two title rivals. Away we go, pretty quick lights out actually, and Jimenez might just get the inside line here. Evans comes over, just covers it off, still looks to the inside for Bueno. Is he going to dare to go to the outside? No, he's not. Jimenez does go to the outside. Great start from Nick Foster trying to get around the outside of Alice Powell, and he's managed to do it, I think. Really good work from the Australian, so he's up into the mix, not in the same team as Nick Foster, not in the same team as Simon Evans, but they've known each other since they were 10 years old, and so Foster is very much here as his sort of teammate. There was a very, very close to a bit of contact towards the back there. Hawkins is now behind Spooner. Forster's made up a couple of places at the start as they come out onto the stretch down into 7, but that's gone as well as it could have done really for Simon Evans, with Foster getting up into 4th position. 2 attack modes as there's the look. Oh, that's a late defensive swerve from Sven Forster there as Hawkins tried to get past, but yeah, 2 attack modes of 2 minutes each, and knowing when to use them, Abby, must be so difficult.
It is, and you know, you're always keeping one in the bag just in case there might be a full course yellow as well. You know, you don't want to use them up too early if you can use that as an option as well. But I think Simon here just needs to knuckle down. You know, he's been quicker than Jimenez in free practice and in quali, and if he can keep that up for the rest of the race, then hopefully he'll pull away.
First time we've actually had a real-life Jaguar I-PACE eTROPHY racer with me in commentary. Used to be Ho Pin Tung, but he's not able to get to Berlin. We had Jess Hawkins and Amanda Stretton, who've both driven the car, but not actually competed in a race. So great to have you here. Forster's gone pretty wide out of 16. That should be an opportunity for Hawkins, but Bueno leading, Evans second, Jimenez third. Fairly spread out at the moment. 9/10 from Bueno to Evans, 7/10 from Evans to Jimenez, and then 6/10 further back. We're on board here with Jess Hawkins, the W Series racer. Almost took a win in the last round at Assen last year. And there she is working the wheel, and not a huge amount of experience in this car.
No, I think this is kind of far from most of the things she's used to driving. And
yeah.
Definitely out of turn 4, there's a little bit of work for her to do. So I know she's going to try and knuckle down and at least you know, increase the lap times that she's been doing. And yeah, hopefully I'll pull into first over and yeah, maybe make some progress.
Maybe a look here coming into 7, little nose towards the inside, not quite close enough in the end. As they, Foster's looks a little bit off the line though, doesn't he? Coming through 8 and 9. It's all very quiet up at the front. Alice Powell in 5th place. You can see they've all got 2 attack modes remaining. Adalberto Baptista, Fahad Al-Ghassabi that was, trying to get past Baptista for 7th position. Baptista leading the Pro-Am class, which is quite impressive because Fahad Al-Ghassabi has won the last 6 Pro-Am races. It's only Diriyah, where Yachi Chang won both races, that he hasn't managed to do it. And Al-Ghassabi now under pressure from Takuma Aoki over 9th position. Here they come up towards turn 16. The front runner's fairly spread out. Aoki to the outside. Oh, very late on the brakes there, and that meant that Spooner fancied a little look towards the inside, not able to get anything done. Evans sets the fastest lap of the race, 2/10 quicker than Jimenez up at the front, but it's still Jimenez in the lead as we kind of wait now for the attack mode activations to come. Is it easy to not activate attack mode, or are you spending the whole time going, oh, I really want to do it on this lap?
It's quite easy to overshoot it on the way in. I think they've changed the layout of where the activation modes are in this, so they're earlier on in the corner as opposed to later from the previous layout. So I actually think it's a little bit easier to activate it, but it is tricky. You know, you overshoot it and you run wide, and that's your opportunity gone until the next lap.
Down into turn 7. Bueno still leading. Is anyone going to be close enough for a look this time around? Adalberto Baptista's managed to pull away a little bit from Fahad Al-Ghassabi in 7th position, the 2 Pro-Am leaders. Here's a look at the start again, and I think Evans on any other day probably would have, oh, it was a slow start actually there from Hawkins. That's why she dropped to the back, but I think any other day Evans might have sent it to the outside, but if he'd have done that, Jimenez would have been in like a flash.
He's driving very carefully and thinking of the end goal here.
That was Nick Foster in that 4th position, going around the outside of Alice Powell, who And everybody kind of concertina's up behind. I've been surprised by Alice Powell, actually, in this series of races in Berlin, because she was very much a podium contender in Diriyah when you were racing. She was right at the front, and here she's not quite managed to stay with that front pack for the first time, really.
Yeah, I think it's just the difference in surface. You know, Diriyah is quite it's a purpose-built street circuit, if you like, whereas this is quite an abrasive circuit. And I think she's just struggling with the braking and being able to get on the power as early out the corners. But I feel she's doing a little bit better today than the previous couple of rounds.
19.5 minutes left on the clock. Caca Bueno leading. Again, Evans set the fastest lap of the race last time around. Took a 1/10 of a second out of Bueno. It was a very slow lap for Sergio Jimenez, 6/10 slower than Evans, so the gap goes up from 1 second to 1.6 seconds, which is quite something. There is Fahad Al-Ghassabi, who is now on the back of Alberto Baptista again, so he dropped back, then he's managed to come back into the fight for the lead of the Pro-Am class. Baptista, who we're on board with here, has won the championship already. Al-Ghassabi, who we're on board with here, has won the championship already, but would like to get past Alberto Baptista as they come through the little kinks at 13 and 14, and then into the hairpin at 15. Late on the brakes, back on the power out of the corner, and Alberto Baptista just pulls away again a little bit. Still very similar lap times between Bueno and Evans up at the front of the order, and it's the fastest lap, in fact, from Simon Evans. Again, 6/10 of a second slower, Sergio Jimenez, on that lap. So Jimenez really not with a huge amount of pace.
I think Evans, if he keeps cracking out these lap times, whether he'll reel Bueno in. We've got, who's this, Jess, going underneath Förster into turn 1. Is she going to pull it off?
Gets up alongside.
Done deal. Is he going to hang it around the outside?
Oh, he's going for it. Spicy from Sven Förster, but he can't quite pull it off. So Hawkins makes the move and is now going to try and close the gap to Spooner up in front. So
a little bit of damage there on the front as well.
Yeah, maybe from that kind of early concertinaing up in the first couple of corners. So Hawkins makes the move and is up into 11th position. Caca Bueno still leading, 6/10 of a second ahead of Simon Evans up at the front of the order. And we'll see how quickly Hawkins pulls away from Förster, and Förster activates his attack mode, has to hit 2 of the 3 loops, and then actually there's quite a... I hadn't really thought of that before, and that's interesting for the Formula E race as well. It's a very dramatic exit of the attack mode, because you've got to get back across basically to the other side of the road to go through 8 and 9.
Yeah, I think there'll be more potential for the rear wanting to come round on acceleration out of the attack zone there. But yeah, key is to keep it over to the left to get a good entry into the next couple of corners.
Bueno, Evans, the front 2. Nose to tail across the line with 17 minutes plus a lap to go. Then it is, what's Jimenez done this time through? Another slow lap, 4/10 of a second. The gap's to 2.4 seconds now from Evans in second to Jimenez in third. This will be a bit of a concerning one for the championship leader. Now, if it finishes like this in second and third, it's a 4-point swing, so it would halve the gap down to 4 points, obviously. So, and Jimenez is kind of by himself in that third place because he's pulling away from Foster. Then there's Powell, then there's Seguers, then a little bit of a gap to Baptista. But Evans is looking pretty racy. He's not far away. In fact, I think he's got enough gap that if he wanted to take attack mode now, he could. He's not going for it yet, but it was about 2 seconds in the last races for attack mode. I don't know if it's going to be any less or more in this configuration, but Evans has got that gap to Jimenez.
Yeah, I think he's probably just seeing, the behaviour of the car in front and when the right opportunity to take it is. You take it too early and you regret it later down the line. So perhaps on this next lap we'll see him go for it.
16 minutes plus a lap to go. He always looks so good on the brakes, Evans. But then Bueno gets on out of the corners.
It's so easy to overshoot these things into the corners. You go too fast in and it just hinders your ability to get full power on the exit, especially at the last couple of corners here, the hairpins.
15 minutes plus a lap to go. Across the line comes race leader Caca Bueno. Simon Evans in second place. personal best on that last lap for Jimenez, but still 2/10 slower than Evans and Bueno up in front. Just wonder whether Jimenez is playing the long game or something, looking after his tyres, because you only get one set of tyres for the race day. So do they start to fade during the race? Because we even see in qualifying that actually not many of the best lap times are set towards the end of the session, because the tyres are past their peak. They're still very durable, but they're not quite got that ultimate pace.
Yeah, they get pretty hot very quickly. You'll see during quali, maybe do 2-lap runs and then a really, really slow cool down. And obviously in the race, you don't have that luxury to be able to do that. So once they drop off, it's just maintaining that and just trying to keep the best lap times you can without killing your tyre for the next race.
14.5 minutes to go. Bueno and Evans, the top two. Caco Bueno, multiple Brazilian stock car champion, had a little spell in GT cars in Europe. Simon Evans raced in V8s down in New Zealand and Australia, but now here in the Jaguar I-PACE eTROPHY. Spooner activates his attack mode. Paul Spooner in 10th position. Förster is managing to stay with Hawkins in the battle of the guest drivers for 11th position, and here now is Fahad Al-Ghassabi going to the outside of Adalberto Baptista. Takuma Aoki is going to try and get involved in that as well. Keep your eyes peeled for the white car of the Japanese racer, but actually he's not that close. I thought he was going to be a little closer. Oh, there's a lunge. Al-Ghassabi and spooks Baptista a little bit out of the way and is able to pull alongside now as they come down into turn one. Door handle to door handle, and Fahad Al-Ghassabi is going to get through there. Can Adalberto Baptista get back across before Aoki's there? No. So Takuma Aoki goes through as well, almost into the back of Al-Ghassabi, and Baptista loses 2 places in a corner and a half, really. And I think he just got a little bit nervous that Al-Ghassabi was fully sending one into the final corner.
Yeah, he just left the door open a little bit. I think he could have been a little bit more strict with it there. As you can see, Evans has just gone for his attack mode. Yeah, he's got that successfully as well.
Okay, let's see then what happens with Simon Evans, because his margin was 2.9 seconds over Sergio Jimenez. The gap's now down to 0.9 seconds, so 2.9 minus 0.9. Yeah, 2 seconds is the approximate time it's going to take you to activate your attack mode. So how quickly can he close it to the back of Bueno? Can he get in front of Bueno? And then can he stay in front of Bueno when Bueno uses his first attack mode? There comes Evans in behind. Caco Bueno still leading with 12 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock.
It's quite a big gap there that he's got to close up. He might only just be able to get back on the back of him. We'll see.
It was the 2 minutes are a bit more powerful, I think, than the 90 seconds, because the 90-second ones on Sunday were a bit, by the time you lost the time, you kind of just gained the time back, and you didn't then make any progress forwards really after that.
Yeah, you just ended up making what you'd already lost, going to activate the zone itself. So we can see here he's closing in very quickly on Bueno and pulling away from Jimenez pretty quickly as well. So if you can get the deal done before the end of the lap, I think that's put to good use, really.
I would also hypothesize that attack mode will be a little bit less important here, because it's sort of less straights, really. Bueno goes for his attack mode now. Attack mode now, he's missed it. He's missed it. Caco Bueno misses the attack mode activation zone, and that gives Simon Evans the net lead of the race, and actually now quite a comfortable lead, because he's got 1.5 seconds to Caco Bueno in behind. Jimenez is 3 seconds further back, and that tiny error from Caco Bueno, as it did for Evans on the other day when he missed attack mode and it scuppered his chances of winning. Oh, it's in Evans' hands now, isn't it? He's going to have a big, big lead at the front of this race.
Yeah, Bueno just went in too hot. It's so easy to do into that corner as well, and he just ended up missing one of the attack mode loops. So whether he'll go for it again on the next lap and try and make up a bit of space from the error he's made, we'll see.
Let's have a look at it again then. He just properly sends it, doesn't he? It's too wide for Caco Bueno. And you've got to get the line absolutely spot on there. And is it a case of practice, or is it a case of sort of reference points? Because you can get the line pretty much spot on every time into the corner at turn 7. So is it just because you don't practice attack mode a lot at full speed, or is it because you haven't got like an apex to aim at? Why is it so tricky?
I think it's a bit of a combination. You know, you only get to do it twice each session, and you on the track board, you can have a little look and see where they are, and they're quite awkwardly placed. You kind of almost have to have your two right-hand wheels off the track slightly, and obviously they've moved now from the previous round as well. So there's just a few factors at play that cause a mistake like that to happen easily.
Alice Powell is in attack mode, so that's the fastest first sector of anyone, so she's trying to close back up on Gregory Seguers for, well, stay ahead of Gregory Seguers in what is 5th and 6th positions. Foster activates his attack mode now as well, but Kaka Bueno, interestingly, didn't decide to go again on his attack mode, and so that it cost him 3.5 seconds overall, because it costs you 2 seconds, but that's usually, but that's because if you get attack mode, then you are quicker in the second half of the lap. Seguers has used both of his attack modes then, as have Hawkins and Förster, and Hawkins is now 5 seconds clear of Förster, so that's good work from Jess as she starts to try and close in a little bit on Adalberto Baptista in 10th position, who's not only dropped behind Aoki and Algasebi and Spooner as well now, and Aoki has got ahead of Algasebi too in the midst of all of that. So 9 minutes plus a lap to go. Evans leading 1.3 seconds ahead of Bueno. So Bueno suddenly, although he failed in his attack mode bid, he's lapping pretty quickly, 6/10 quicker than Simon Evans. On that last lap, you get the feeling that Evans is maybe not taking a huge amount of risks.
Yeah, and I think Bueno will be on a bit of a mission to rectify the mistake he just made. As you mentioned, you know, you lose the time, obviously, when you miss the loops, but you beat yourself up for the next lap as well. So he's got that out of his system, and he's obviously knuckling down to try and catch Evans again.
He goes for it again, Bueno, and gets it this time, as does Sergio Jimenez in behind. So they both activate their first attack mode. Bueno might catch up to the back of Simon Evans, and is Foster on the back of Jimenez now, or maybe not? No, I don't. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
So they're right together, and Foster, well, they're both in attack mode. Foster is about to run out of attack mode, to be fair, so he's not really going to be able to get, unless he does a classic Foster lunge down into the hairpin, but even for him, that's a little bit too far back as he comes through turn 15. So Foster now out of attack mode. That'll allow Bueno and Jimenez to pull away from him a little bit. Evans' lead still 2.2 seconds at the moment as they come out and across the line. Here is Algasebi and Takuma Aoki side by side again. Aoki gives Algasebi a lot of room, gets the cut back, but it will be on the outside for the next hairpin left-hander. Still sends it in deep. Tries to get on the power. Behind him is Paul Spooner, then it's Adalberto Baptista, and then it is Hawkins, who, well, Hawkins is now out of attack mode. On the last lap was a couple of seconds quicker. Here we go. Oh, Ayuki tries to sell the dummy on Algasebi and forces the issue. Nicely done from the Japanese driver, and Aoki and Algasebi having a nice fight here over 7th place.
Yeah, he had that pass in his mind at the start of the long straight there. I think he knew what he was going to do, and he sent it in and made it work.
Bueno in attack mode. He's managed to get right onto the back of Evans, with both having one attack mode remaining.
Is he going to do a lunge into the second to last corner?
Oh, he might here.
Not cover it off.
Because he's still got a little bit of attack mode remaining. He's out of it now, but he's managed to pull alongside, sends it in deep. Evans will just hold the apex, and nicely done from Simon Evans. Doesn't allow Bueno to get the cutback. Is the Brazilian going to fancy a little bit of a lunge into the final corner? No, back to the outside, but he's setting Evans up here, isn't he? Trying to get him exactly where he wants him, but Evans has got good drive off the final corner.
He has, and it'll be interesting to see if these two are able to battle together. And obviously Evans was quicker at the start of this race here, but whether Bueno's tyres are in a little bit better shape temperature-wise, and whether he can be faster on the remaining few laps.
Into turn 1. Jimenez is 2.5 seconds further back. It'll also be interesting to see whether the Brazilians swap places come the end of the race in 5 minutes plus elapsed time. Here's a look at it again, and nothing really. Bueno just couldn't get that overlap, could he? And Evans just hung it nicely here on the apex, so Bueno couldn't get back underneath him.
Yeah, he played that very well. He knew exactly what he wanted to do.
And Bueno goes for his second attack mode. Very late decision there. Jimenez does the same. If it finishes like this, then Simon Evans would take the lead of the championship. So that's why I feel as though the Brazilians would swap places ultimately. Jimenez is into the clutches of Foster again, but he'll soon pick up his pace. But yeah, I think if it finishes like this, Evans will take the lead of the championship by a point. If the Brazilians switch, then Jimenez will still lead by 4 points going into the final race tomorrow. So I think it's pretty important that Bueno and Jimenez make the switch, and I'm fairly sure they would. It seems pretty obvious.
Yeah, and the Brazilians have been working together in qualifying, you know, helping each other out in terms of traffic and so on. And whether they've had this conversation before going out on track, we'll soon find out. Obviously, no intercom systems to the team back in the pit lane, so no team boss telling them what to do. But yeah,
they come into turn 1, then 2 and 3. Have you? Oh, he's going out wide there, wasn't he? Have you done much racing with intercoms? Was that a stupid question?
GT racing generally has pit-to-car radio, so yeah, there will be an element of team orders involved in situations like this. But in certain situations,
I was just wondering whether it was like not that much different for you actually to be racing without team radio, whereas some of these guys, you know, the Brazilian stock car guys, for example, these, you know, very experienced, you know, 40-year-old plus drivers who have done all their racing with someone in their ear, I wondered if it would be a bit different.
I mean, you get good information, like, is the car behind me much faster? Which sector are they faster in? Got a little look around the outside here.
This is almost like a carbon copy of what we saw previously. Bueno to the outside. Evans holds it on the inside. Bueno now out of attack mode again, so pretty much identical to before. But Evans has still got one more attack mode to use. He's got a better drive out this time, I think, Caca Bueno. Still maybe a little far back, but they're right nose to tail now. 2.5 minutes plus a lap to go. Evans has got to finish ahead of Jimenez, really, if he wants a chance of winning this title. Here they come into turn 1. Still right together. And at what point will Caca Bueno start to get a little bit robust? When will we start to hear these little bumps and crunches? Now, 2 minutes of... Surely Evans is going to take attack mode this time around. It's pretty close to the gap to Jimenez, you know. If Evans can take it and still come out in front of Jimenez, then he's got a shot at getting back ahead of Bueno. But if he comes out behind Jimenez, he's in big trouble for the win here. Here he comes down into turn 7, takes attack mode. Does he hit it? Oh, he's going in. Oh, I thought he was going in deep there, but he manages to keep it together and stays in front of Jimenez. Right, so here we go. We're in for another last couple of laps battle for the win in the Jaguar I-PACE eTROPHY. Bueno has the lead. He is 1.4 seconds ahead of Jimenez, but ahead of Evans, but he should be able to close that in quite quickly. Now Evans is in attack mode.
I think we're going to see quite a wide Brazilian #1 car here.
Bueno down into the right-hander. Takuma Aoki gets back ahead of Spooner. Jess Hawkins has caught the back of Adalberto Baptista and the other battles there, so we'll see if she can get ahead of the Pro-Am racer for 10th place. Evans is right on the back already, so they're going to come across the line now to start the penultimate lap of the race, and Evans has got attack mode. He's to the outside. How hard is Bueno going to fight it? How hard can Bueno fight it? The answer is not very, because Evans in attack mode sweeps around the outside, moves into the lead of the race, and as it stands, into the lead of the championship. Thought Bueno was going to try and give a little nudge there. Bueno was described to me earlier today as the Jason Plato of Brazilian stock car racing, so the sort of experienced old guard kind of thing. So we'll see whether he brings out any Plato moves. Meanwhile, Takuma Aoki is still fighting with Fahad Al-Ghassabi. Al-Ghassabi's back in front in 7th position, and look, Hawkins has caught the back of this whole group after being, I think, 7 or 8 seconds off the back of them in the early stages, having been stuck behind Sven Förster. So that's a really good effort. There are Spooner and Baptista swapping places. I'm sorry, Spooner and Al-Ghassabi fighting and swapping places. Evans now pulling away up at the front, though, as we have this great little battle over what is ultimately the Pro-Am win. And Adalberto Baptista had the lead in Pro-Am for a while, but Paul Spooner has now taken it. He started on pole position the other day. He's had a couple 3 second place finishes in class, not had a class win, but he's fancying a bit of Takuma Aoki here. To the left-hand side, still got a little bit of attack mode remaining, sends it into turn 7. Aoki has to activate his second attack mode now, so he's going to drop in behind. Wow, busy stuff in the closing stages. There's Hawkins right on the back now of Takuma Aoki, the former superbike racer. And they are all having an interesting fight. Now we're on to the final lap of the race, and Evans has got this well under control. But Caca Bueno threw it away, really, didn't he? With that missing the attack zone.
Yeah, and it just shows how important it is to make sure when you go for it that you do get it, and whether that is to sacrifice a little bit of speed into the corner to ensure that you get it. He'll probably do that for the next race, I imagine.
Now, what are we going to see from the Brazilians here? Well, we're seeing Takuma Aoki send it in on Adalberto Baptista as they come out to start the final lap of the race. Aoki now up into 9th position. There's Hawkins, who's climbed from the back to still be in 11th place, but on the back of the rest of the fight. Bueno just a second ahead of Jimenez, and there's the move. So pulling over is Caca Bueno, allowing Sergio Jimenez up into 2nd position. And that will give him, that means the split between the two drivers at the top will be 5 points. So that means the gap will come down to 3 points. So Jimenez will hold the lead of the title race, but by just 3 points over Sergio Jimenez going into the final race. So basically, in fact, it's basically going to be whoever finishes ahead tomorrow will win the title. Is basically as simple as it's going to be. Unless they're 3rd and 4th, then it gets a little bit more difficult on countback. But here comes Simon Evans out of the final corner. The checker flag is waiting, and he is absolutely cleaning up in Berlin. A 3rd win in a row for Evans. 3 points now behind Jimenez at the top of the championship. Caca Bueno in 3rd, Nick Foster, a quiet race for him in 4th, an even quieter race for Alice Powell, but a good, strong 5th position. It's all kicking off here as Takuma Aoki goes to the outside of Fahad Al-Ghassabi. Paul Spooner is going to win the Pro-Am class here for Saudi Racing, and it does Jess Hawkins fancy a look at the final corner, just a little bit too far back. Aoki to the outside of Al-Ghassabi, can't get it done. What a brilliant drive this is from Paul Spooner out across the line to take the win in Pro-Am. Brilliant drive from Spooner. 2nd for Al-Ghassabi, just ahead of Aoki. Baptista in 10th. Hawkins showing great pace in 11th position. And Sven Förster, the VIP driver, finishes about 10 or 11 seconds back. So, well, that sets us up nicely for tomorrow, doesn't it? Evans is absolutely flying.
I think it's going to be down to the wire, and it's going to be probably a last lap thing like it has been on this race here.
It's amazing how often now with the tack mode, the action is coming down to the last laps. I've been really, really surprised by that.
Yeah, you always want to maybe keep 1 lap in the bag in case you miss it, as Bueno did earlier on. But I know definitely with Paul Spooner there, he's chasing 2nd in the Pro-Am Championship, I think, and that's what he's got his eyes on for tomorrow as well. Yeah,
he was 11 points behind Adalberto Baptista coming into this race. With Baptista finishing 3rd, that gap is now just going to be 2 points between Adalberto Baptista and Paul Spooner. So that's going to be a great fight as well. So for 2nd place in the Pro-Am class, for the overall win in the driver's title, it's going to be really, really entertaining as Evans takes another win, comes into the pit lane now and swings hard left, and he'll pull into the same position he's pulled into for the last 3 races now. And there he is into 1st spot. And there's the onboard of Evans punching his fists as he pulls into the pit lane. And he is delighted with that one. You see the Giltrap logos on the side of the car. Of course, Colin Giltrap, who's helped so many New Zealander races through the fields. And Simon Evans, with a boom indeed, takes another victory in the Jaguar I-PACE eTROPHY. He's the only driver to have never been off the podium this year. So this championship built on consistency first of all, but now built on race wins. 3 in a row for Evans, and I think that is the first time that's been done in the pro class. Jimenez might have done it last year. No, he didn't. He only got 2 in a row. So the first time anyone has won 3 races in a row in the Jaguar I-PACE eTROPHY in the pro class at least. Here's a look at the results after 17 laps of racing. Simon Evans taking the win, 3.6 seconds clear of Sergio Jimenez, who admittedly was let through by his teammate Caca Bueno after Bueno made a mistake and cost himself the win. Nick Foster in 4th position, 5th for Alice Powell, 6th for Gregory Seguers. Paul Spooner with a great drive for his first win in the Pro-Am class. Fahad Al-Ghassabi in 8th, Takuma Aoki 9th. Adalberto Baptista completing the top 10. Hawkins climbed back up the order, or climbed back to catch the back of the Pro-Am lead battle. Sven Förster, the Austrian, in 12th position. And so, as far as the championship points are concerned, going into the final race tomorrow, it is still Sergio Jimenez leading the way. But 3 points the difference between he and Simon Evans. It's effectively going to be winner takes all tomorrow. Whoever finishes ahead out of the 2 of them will be the champion. Caca Bueno in 3rd position, 4th is Alice Powell, Nick Foster in 5th spot. So, Simon Evans the winner. This is the Pro-Am class. Now you can see that Spooner is just 2 points behind Adalberto Baptista, so that's going to be quite the fight going into tomorrow as well. Fahad Al-Ghassabi having wrapped up the championship earlier on this weekend.
Simon Evans, another victory. 3 back-to-back. Berlin has been kind. You've put in some stunning performances. Narrowed the gap now to 3 points with Sergio Jimenez. And once again, punching the air as you drove in to the podiums. Just go through it for us, please, Simon.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be close with Caca. Very fortunate he missed the attack mode. Well, I think he missed the attack mode again. And that just set me up beautifully. And then I knew once he came at me again, I just had to be very precise with my defending. And then I thought, you know, I'd be in with a sniff, and sure enough, I activated my last attack mode perfectly, and yeah, I managed to pluck him off. So very, very good. Just need to find a little bit more speed in qualifying. We made the car better.
What have you changed?
I can't get into too much
detail.
Oh,
Simon!
But, you know, the other days...
Well, you're obviously pleased with the changes, which have made a significant difference to the performance of the car.
Yeah. So right. we closed that gap to pole, you know, from the previous days, which is always really, really nice. But I feel like it'd be easier if I could qualify on pole. But
do you think there's anything left in it? Because tomorrow is the most important day of the season, the last day, 3 points, and we all know how important qualifying is with Jaguar I-PACE eTROPHY.
Yeah, it's yeah. You hope there's a little bit more in it. Whether you want to try it or not on the most important day of the year is another thing. So anyway, thanks to my guys, Howie, Mikesh, Stephen, who's waking up back home in New Zealand. Can't wait to get in here tomorrow. And
obviously it was no surprise that Caca pulled over and let Jimenez through.
I expected that, you know, so that's okay. I'm a bit of a one-man band out there at the moment, so that's okay. I'll just, if I can stump up again like that, it'll be all good.
A one-man band, but you're playing the loudest music, Simon.
I like the sound of that.
Amanda.
Thank you very much, Vernon. Yes, Sergio Jimenez, congratulations on your second. Your teammate obviously helped you out immensely there, but it looked for a long while like you just didn't have the pace.
Yeah, I mean, my car doesn't have the grip, so nothing I can do. We change a lot, the car up and down, more, less, and nothing happened, and I don't know, he's too fast, and we need to understand why, but really, I don't know.
It's a tough one, I know, when you're scrabbling around trying to find where you're missing pace versus somebody else. Obviously, Kaka's move helped you. It's kept you in the lead of the championship, just 3 points though, so it's still very close. It means tomorrow it's just going to be an all-out fight. So what can you do?
Well, I need to improve the car. If I don't improve the car, we will not have a fight. He will win. So I need to improve the car to fight against him, because now we are too far, very far from him.
You know what you're going to look for?
I did everything. Now I will do more than everything.
Well, you've got a teammate. You can at least look at some of his data. Sergio Jimenez, thank you very much. Vernon.
Thank you, Amanda. Fighting talk there from Sergio Jimenez. Kaka Bueno missed the attack mode, all-important attack mode. So disappointing.
No, it's so disappointing. I lose attack mode because I'm trying to go really fast in this part of don't lose the position for events. And I'm not sure if we win anyway if you don't lose the attack mode, because even in the last 10 minutes of the race is very, very quick. The car not drop. I start to struggle with my tires, understeer a lot. And I have one chance with attack mode and recover this position. Yeah, cool. And Evans make a very good job. It's my mistake. I'm disappointed, but congratulations to Evans, go very, very quickly in the last part of the race.
It's going to come down to tomorrow, the last race, and we all know that qualifying is really important. We keep saying this over and over again, and you're very good at qualifying, Kaka Bueno.
Yeah, and I try to help my teammate make him pole and try to win the race, like today. Let's go. Let's look forward and okay, one podium again, 6 times in a row. I'm happy.
All right, Kaka Bueno, thank you very much. Tomorrow is going to be something special, Amanda.
Thanks, Vernon. Yes, Farhad Al-Ghasabi for Saudi Racing. Let me be the first to say a huge congratulations on your championship.
Thank you so much.
But you have dominated this, really. You really found your groove. The project, the whole Saudi Racing project, has just really been executed perfectly. You've never put a foot wrong.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the Chinese team couldn't make it. It would have been nice to have more of a competition. But aside from that, you know, no complaints whatsoever. It's been going super smoothly, been having a blast. I want to take this opportunity to thank my family and my friends for their support. And I don't know if this counts, but with the mask, I'm just going to give them a little kiss. Okay.
It does take a lot of commitment from family members as well when you're racing internationally and going abroad as much as you do.
Yes, definitely. And it's hard to be away from them, especially during this time. But yeah, I look forward to, you know, wrapping up the next race and then heading back home and catching up with them.
Now, it did look for a while like you were getting a bit of a run for your money from Adalberto. He was holding you guys up for quite a while.
He had a great start and he had pretty good pace. Then halfway through the race, his car started to slide a bit. His pace dropped and I was able to pass. But he did a really good job. I'm really impressed with how his pace got quicker during this round.
Well, it's been a masterclass from you. Farhad Al-Ghasabi, congratulations.
Thank you
Well
so
done
much.
to you. Go and enjoy your podium. Jack.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Very happy Farhad Al-Ghasabi there then, as we get ready for the podium presentations after the Jaguar I-PACE eTROPHY race. That means that the championship battle is getting tighter and tighter, isn't it, up at the top? Simon Evans taking the win, Sergio Jimenez second. Still those Brazilians on the top step. As Kaka Bueno said, it's his 6th podium in a row. But it is the 9th podium in a row and the 3rd win in a row for Simon Evans, who is absolutely flying at the moment. The New Zealander unstoppable at the moment.
To celebrate the success of Simon Evans. And now for the trophy presentation, we'd like to ask Kaka to raise your trophy.
Kaka Bueno then a third place trophy again.
And Sergio.
Just giving up that second position for Sergio Jimenez. But Sergio, goodness me. But Simon Evans at the top of the championship closes the gap down to just 3 points at the top of the standings. What a great drive from Evans. The penultimate race of the Jaguar I-PACE eTROPHY got underway with Kaka Bueno on pole position. Evans slotted into second place, third for Sergio Jimenez at the first corner. Jimenez thought about the outside. Foster did think about the outside and go around Alice Powell at turn 1. Powell slotted into fifth position then, a position she would never relinquish. But it was all quite spread out in the early stages. Evans was trying to keep with Kaka Bueno. Bueno was looking fairly comfortable out in front. But then he tried to take attack mode a bit too fast, got out wide, couldn't activate it, and that, well, he says maybe didn't cost him the race. It certainly cost him the lead, but even when Simon Evans got into the lead, he was able to control the situation. Sergio Jimenez just complained of a lack of grip for the whole of the race. Takuma Aoki and Fahad Al-Ghassabi were battling very nicely. Bueno, when he was on attack mode, tried to pass Simon Evans, but Evans defended it very nicely indeed. Bueno went for his next attack mode. And then Evans took his final. And the question was going to be, could he get ahead of Kaka Bueno? The answer was emphatically yes. Evans to the outside on the run down into turn 1. And that was it. From then on, Evans disappeared and won by a huge 3.6 seconds. 3 points the gap at the top of the championship. Jimenez still ahead, but Evans has won every one of the last 3 races. It's going to be very tight tomorrow. Vernon.
Thank you, Jack. Amanda, Formula E crowned its champion on Sunday. We are going to the wire with the Jaguar I-PACE eTROPHY. Just 3 points with Sergio Jimenez at the top at the moment and Simon Evans with his 3rd victory in a row in 2nd place.
Do you know, I'm slightly nervous about standing in the way here. But listen, I'm pleased. I'm really pleased. It's obviously wonderful when you have a really dominant driver who takes the championship when there's still multiple races to go.
Yeah.
But I think this is testament, and particularly what we were seeing there is what the quality of driving. It was absolutely beautiful between Kaka and Simon when Kaka was defending. I mean, and Simon was defending. There's a lot of respect in this paddock. Everybody wants it. There's no question about that. They're all desperate. I know for Simon it would mean a huge deal, but you know, they're very, very respectful of one another. And to have a championship where you've got some outstanding international drivers bringing it down to the line is just such a joy to watch.
Yeah, and at the beginning of our lockdown showdown here in Berlin, elbows were very sharp. We mentioned that many, many times. It was very aggressive driving. Today it seemed to smooth out, and the drivers were overtaken and defended with such elegance.
Yeah, there's no chance to make mistakes now, because it doesn't do anybody any favours. If Kaka takes Simon out, it isn't going to do him any favours. Obviously, it's going to totally... Hi, Simon. To totally wreck Simon's chances. Sorry, are we in the way of your car?
Oh, he's all right.
But yeah, it doesn't do him any favours. And I think that level of respect is really admirable. And hats off to all of them for a superb drive and a class drive.
OK, just quickly, do you think that Kaka Bueno and Sergio Jimenez relationship will really come into play tomorrow, Amanda?
Yes, I do. I think there's no doubt about it.
All right, so you know what you've got to do? You've got to tune in tomorrow to find out who will be crowned series winner, Jaguar I-PACE eTROPHY. We'll see you tomorrow for the final round.